Hello and welcome to the Moses Lake LEAD Community Initiative Update. I'm Brandon Nicholas, former Executive Director of the Downtown Moses Lake Association and a founding member of Moses Lake LEAD. I am joined today by Moses Lake City Manager Allison Williams and Community Development Director Melissa Bethel. Prior to the pandemic, Moses Lake LEAD did a community survey. And from that survey, we found 11 topics that were consistently mentioned. As the group had planned to have a community summit to discuss those issues, the pandemic hit and our summit had to be postponed. And then our next attempt was postponed due to the rise in cases taking place now. But we wanted to bring an update to the public on these topics as many things are happening and moving forward. So this video update series was created. One of the 11 major topics our survey indicated people in our community are interested in is more affordable housing in our area. To get a better understanding of what our community desires and what future possibilities there are, we will jump in with some questions for our panelists today. We welcome those of you watching to provide constructive feedback in the comment section below. So our first question for either of you, what is the housing needs assessment the city recently did, and what are some of the big things that you learned from it?
Thanks, Brandon. So you may know the city's in our final stages of adopting the comprehensive plan. And what that is, it's a holistic look at our city and how it will plan for growth in the future. And so one of the components of that plan is the housing needs assessment. The housing needs assessment typically involves an evaluation of like demographic data, economic characteristics, trends, current housing inventory, and characteristics. It concludes with the number of housing units are needed in the market, price point, bedroom types, market segments, and then it provides recommendations on how to achieve certain housing goals and provides recommendations on policies that will benefit our market, our local housing market. So what we learned from our housing needs assessment, we learned that Moses Lake is growing with a population of approximately 24,000, a little over, that our median family income is only about 58,000. That means nearly 1/3 of our Moses Lake households pay more than 30% of their income in housing. And so in Moses Lake, the monthly payment for an average price home is only affordable to households making a little more than 55,000 annually. And so that means the average home in Moses Lake is only affordable to less than 1/2 of our residents. And these are big statistics for us that we need to adopt and plan for. So we also know that home prices are rising faster than incomes and that the housing is limited in supply. We found that Moses Lake needs about 253 units a year to meet the 2038 estimated growth projection. That's 28% higher than the current rate of production right now. So we found we need more diversity in housing. We have more than 60% of our Moses Lake households have only 1 or 2 members in their house, but only 39% of our housing is 1 or 2 bedrooms. 62% of our available housing is single family homes. And so that is what we learned. Those are the big key takeaways that we learned from the housing needs assessment.
Okay, all right, thank you. Another question that I have for you is, what are some of the broad strategies the city is looking to input that are in the new housing action plan?
Perfect. So we learned, we had 7 big key takeaways that we could put into action. And so those 7 items are number one, reduce the minimum lot sizes in residential zones, allow for more density. And so right now, I think our typical lot size is 7,000 square feet. If we reduce that even down to 5,000, we would get a lot more housing in the same amount of area. Number 2 is increase to allow housing types in existing zones. So different housing types. So in other words, maybe duplexes and triplexes with some design standards or different facing on corner lots that would allow for more density also. Number 3 was streamline our permitting process, make it more accessible and easier for developers to get their permits and their development going. Number 4, add flexibility for planned and clustered subdivisions. This would allow for different types of living. So we know that people like diversity. Not everybody wants to live in that single family subdivision lot. Maybe they want to live in a cottage development or a condo or a townhome. And so adding flexibility in our code to allow those type of developments to happen would be encouraged. Encourage income restricted affordable housing development. And so the city has a housing and grants coordinator that just came on last year. And so we've started and are taking steps to have that and create that program. Facilitate production of accessory dwelling units. Our code actually allows for accessory dwelling units, but we don't have a lot of people taking advantage of them. So we need to figure out how to make them facilitate more production of them, make them easier. Maybe look at those design regulations and see how we can get more out there in our city. And then also distributing infrastructure amenities across all neighborhoods. So we don't have this disparity and certain neighborhoods have more amenities than others. And so we have this broad distribution that goes all across all neighborhoods in anticipation of future growth.
All right.
And those are our key takeaways.
Sounds like you guys have quite a bit of stuff on your plate for the future of Moses Lake.
Well, and I think, Brandon, what's really important is the issue of affordable housing is well documented, and in our state, it's a statewide issue. And during the last number of legislative sessions, our legislature has taken steps to put incentives into place. And so we are working really diligently to make sure that our code matches and that we have staff in place so that we can take advantage of the programs that the state is now authorizing that will help us increase the production of housing. Additionally, as a city manager, I would love to see the addition of a housing advisory committee that would be market-based so that we can really understand how we might help bring the demographic data and pro forma data to the market to see if other housing types would work in this market. And I think that's a partnership, and we need to get some demonstration projects going. So we're pretty excited about what this plan will do for us and getting things in our code and getting things moving forward.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. I'm liking the things that I'm hearing. So I have another question here. If people would like to learn more about the Housing Action Plan or the Housing Needs Assessment, where can they go?
Yeah, so they can go to our city website, which is City of Moses Lake, cityofml.com, and they should be able to find it under the planning page, or even across. Sometimes we have it on our notice of what's happening, or I think we have an event page that pops up. They should be able to find it there. If not, they can always give the city a call me directly, and they should be able to get all the information they need.
All right.
We also have hearings coming up.
Yeah.
And we need to get the plan adopted, and then that puts us into place for additional resources for implementation from the state. So we'll be sharing copies widely through our public processes that are upcoming.
All right, sounds good. Is there anything else you feel is important that we should touch on that we haven't discussed yet?
I just really think from a practical standpoint, what our survey showed is that Moses Lake has a demographic that is really interested in different housing types. And I think it reflects the changing makeup of our community. We have more and more influence from larger companies locating here and bringing in employees who have expectations of different availability of housing types. And I think once we start to get a couple of these types of projects going, I think people will be really excited at the acceptance and the desire to have this product available in our market. Melissa and I have both said when we moved here, there would have been a condo within walking distance of everything that's downtown and Nepal Park. That would be pretty wonderful. And there's a lot of people like us, empty nesters or no kids or single people that in this day and age just want to live in a different environment and not have the high maintenance that comes with a large lot home So we're excited about what this plan does for us for the future and providing for all of our community, including the real work that needs to happen at the lowest end of the spectrum. We have significant issues on our chronic homeless end of the spectrum, and we need to get that infrastructure in place as well.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you both for your time. I think that about wraps it up. Thank you, Allison, Melissa. For those of you watching, we will be having about 11 video conversations like this one about what you, our community members, have deemed most important. So please stay tuned. And again, if you have any constructive thoughts or feedback on this topic, please respond below.